Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
It's 6:45 on Saturday the 25th of April. Just on my way down to the land, and good news today is I've managed to get some supplies. So I should get quite a bit done today. Not quite sure what yet, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. Nice, cool but dry morning. And the exciting news today is the car is down here, because not only did I get some wood today, but I've also managed to get a whacker plate. So after ages of wanting to get it done, I can now compact down that last bit of aggregate that I put in, what seems like, God, a long time ago. And I suppose it is, definitely a few months at least. So yeah, that's first job on the agenda. Get that out of the way before everybody gets up and about, and then we'll go and see what we can get done in the cabin. Apologies for the noise. Gotta get it done. Not looking too bad. Well, that's starting to look a lot better and a little bit more like a proper entrance. Clearly I could drive over it, but I just need it compacting down. We've got a dry bit of weather now, and before we get any more wet stuff, I just wanted to make sure I could get in and out with the car. Still evidence, lots of it, from when we had that big truck bogged down. Clearly he went a long way off where he should have been. I need to put some kind of markers up, especially if I'm coming at night, just so that I don't make a schoolboy error and drop in there myself. But I'll give this another 5 minutes and then we should be about done. Well, that's the entranceway done. Not looking too bad. Certainly a lot more confidence of driving in and out, especially when I'm getting deliveries in the future, because it's been a bit of a pain having to pull up at the side of the road, handball everything off and then drag it across the field. Now I can get straight off the road, straight into the gated entrance there, and at this time of the year actually I can probably get my car all the way across to the cabin if I wanted to. It's certainly solid enough underfoot. Wouldn't dream of attempting that after a bit of rain though, of course. But I have got this hard standing area here that I can park and unload on. So yeah, very pleased with the start of the day. It's a nice day, not too cold, not too hot, and thankfully not raining, so we'll see what we can get done today. Lots of geese flying over again. Hopefully when I get my new pond dug out later in the summer, I'll be just in time to have those settle in the field. But we'll see. Just been checking up on the wildlife feeder and just topped it up with a little bit of fresh grain. Just noticed in the woods, if I can get through the undergrowth here without mishap, there's all the usual rubbish like nettles growing. Well, I say they're rubbish, they're not actually, because you can do a lot of things with them. But I'm not a fan of being stung by them. There's lots of these. I'm not quite sure what these are. I'll have to do a little bit of research. Some kind of lily coming out. Because I don't know what they are, I'm not going to stick my fingers in them. But there is a big variety of these at all stages of development. It's a huge one. over here. If I can see inside that or not without sticking my fingers in it. It looks almost like a peace lily. Similar style. But yeah, spring has definitely sprung. And lots going on this embankment, including rabbits of course. Quite a few flowers coming out. This is steep, you wouldn't believe how steep this is. But there's some nice, I think they're cowslips. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Zoom in. Yeah, so very nice. That might give you an idea of how steep this is. Looking straight down. Right, before I go butt first down here, I'll cut this off and catch up with you later. Well, I've got a list as long as my arm today of things that I would like to do. I've just opened the polytunnel up to let a bit of air through. It certainly does retain the temperature in there. I am going to have a little experiment today with these raised beds. See if I can get the netting covers installed. Potatoes shooting up now in these barrels. Give them another couple of inches I think and then top up with soil. Second set that I put in a couple of weeks after that first one is also sprouting now. Might be a bit earlier than I could ideally have done with, but they're in and they're growing and that's all that matters really. I have got that third one to plant in later. Jerusalem artichoke likewise is putting on a spurt of growth, as are the bushes that I put in. The hazelnuts, these are all really doing well. Very pleased with those. Yeah, so I'm going to get myself in the polytunnel for 10-15 minutes or so, just check up on how we're doing and give these a water. As you can see, lots of growth now. All of those cucumbers have come up that I planted earlier. Still Mr. Lonely Pea there all on his own, but I have popped another couple of seeds in. Carrots coming nicely. And star of the shows really are these cauliflowers and the broccoli. They're really coming up now. They could really do with being transplanted outside before much longer. Tomato tray. I'm not convinced that that is a tomato. Having not done them before, I could be pleasantly surprised to find it is. So I daren't pluck it out just in case, but not much sign of life going on in there at the moment. Anyway, I'll give these a water. I don't think they need much this morning, but they will this afternoon when the sun's out. And I might plant up some more. I've had a request to do some pumpkin and butternut squash, which I've got seeds for. So I might be tempted to put some of those into some small pots or trays later on today. But for now I'll get them watered, and then there's lots that I want to get cracked on with, either on those raised beds or in the cabin. Weather outside today, not quite sure what it's going to do. It's supposed to be a nice sunny day today. We had a week or so of baking sunshine, but the sky does look a bit grey. But having said that, it is really early, so plenty of time yet to see what happens. So you'll remember this from a previous video, composting toilet. I'd like to get this piped out today. It is a bit fiddly because essentially what I have to do is work out the drop and centre for this urine diverter pipe, and I have to mount something onto this front face so that as that comes down it sits into a pipe or a coupling, some kind of receptacle, and then normal waste pipe out through the side wall, through the other side wall, and through yet another side wall, which is the outside wall of the cabin. Clearly it wants a bit of a fall, a drop on the level of the pipe. Make sure that the fluid does actually drain straight away and at some speed into the outside pipe work. So yeah, got my tape measure, got my little book to scribble my notes in. I just need to do a bit of calculation and then start mounting some pipes on that inside face. Definitely a case of measure half a dozen times before I install, because that coming down, I'm going to have to be pretty spot on, both in terms of centre and height, to make sure that that does seat properly into whatever it is I'm using on this inner face. Okay, enough talking, let's get cracking. I'll see you in a while. Just came outside to get some wood and I've got a new visitor on the field. Some ducks. Just trying to sneak up on them. There we go. And he's away. Just doing a quick rough fit. I've had to step out on a block to mount the waste pipe. A little bit fiddly measuring, especially since it's inside a box. Makes it a little bit difficult, but we're there. Just need to figure out where to cut the holes now to go through the entire cabinet and out the wall. So I'll get back to you in a while when I've got some more progress. A little bit of a flaw in the plan in trying to cut the holes in this toilet cabinet. I've had to drag it out into the cabin extension to get the holes through because the drill was too big. It got through the first one okay, I had plenty of space inside the cabinet, but the smaller part of the cabinet for the sawdust and toilet rolls and such like, I couldn't get the drill in. So I had to guesstimate where the hole needed to be and cut it from this other side. But fortunately it does work. Pipe goes through and through again into the main cabinet, and then will connect up to that waste pipe. So all remains now is to get a hole into the outside. Again, I've got to drag this toilet cabinet back into position, try and fiddle my way to get a hole, guess where the hole needs to go, try and mark up the outer wall. Bit fiddly, but we're getting there. Well, that's the composting toilet done. I've installed the waste pipe. It runs out through the cabinet, straight through, and then straight out the wall. I've got my sawdust and loo rolls in there. Main waste bucket with some sawdust in. So we're good to go with this, essentially. Drops straight in there nicely. And then you can get on with doing whatever it is that you need to be doing. Now it's time to tackle the shower and then connect up the waste pipes outside the cabin. Taking the shower tray out, it needs to be raised just ever so slightly to get the clearance for that waste pipe. Bit of a flaw in the plan. Measured the waste pipe, but unfortunately when I did the razors I didn't take into account the fact that there's a beam that runs all the way along the floor. So to get the clearance off that, I've had to raise the waste trap, which means of course I've got to raise the risers that the tray sits on, but I'll do that a little bit later on. For now I've cut a hole for the waste pipe. I'm just going to bob outside and do a loose fit and make sure that everything's okay. Okay, so we're making pretty good progress. Got the waste pipe which comes out of the composting toilet. got a decent fall going down on it. Got a T-pipe in here that feeds back into the shower waste, and then from this end I'll just run a short section of pipe somewhere down to this corner of the cabin, because I'll need to bring out a waste pipe from the kitchen sink out this wall behind the shower and drop down probably into another T-pipe somewhere on the corner of the cabin there. And then the plan then is to just run straight across, buried pipe with some holes in, and have a stowaway installed somewhere between the end of the cabin here and the boundary fence there. That's the plan anyway. So now I just need to go back in the cabin, finish the riser off for the shower, and I'll show you that when I'm done. Well, that's the shower tray back in with the extra risers on, and the waste pipe is also now in. So as far as the shower's concerned, we just need some taps installing on this wall, and of course a shower head somewhere on there, and we'll be good to go. I'm not in a rush with the shower because I need some plastic paneling, and unfortunately because of the COVID situation, that shop is closed until this COVID thing finishes and we stop the lockdown. So apart from the taps perhaps I could install, the rest I can't do anything really till this COVID thing's finished. But there's plenty in here to keep me busy, so onward we go. Just trying to figure out how to lay out these net coverings for the raised beds. Not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Just done a experiment with this raised bed and some plastic netting. Don't know if it'll show in this video. Oh yeah, maybe it will. So I've got some battens down the side, batten across the centre, another batten down this side. Trouble I'm finding though is this plastic netting's quite flimsy, and I've had to run a guide rope around the outside to keep it secured around the edge of the raised bed. So to be honest, I'm not really happy with that. I think it's a bit too flimsy. I don't think it would last very long at all. So I'm going to have a bit of a rethink rather than do the other two as well, and maybe find a little bit more stronger material than this plastic netting. Anyway, we tried, we failed. We'll try again. I've decided to take a bit of a chance with this raised bed and see how I get on. The broccoli and cauliflower seedlings are coming on extremely well. They're getting a bit leggy actually in the polytunnel, or some of them are. So I've planted out inside the raised bed, and there's probably about half of each, half of broccoli, half of cauliflower, that was in those seed trays in the polytunnel. So I'm going to give those a go, see how they get on, first of all outside in the raised bed rather than being inside the polytunnel, and secondly see how this raised bed cover stands up, because I have no doubt now there's something in there we're going to get visitors, whether that's rabbits or squirrels or pigeons or whatever. So I'll give it a test drive and see how it works over the next few weeks, and in the meantime I'll try and think of another solution, same design, just different fabric or material for those two raised beds. Everything else is coming on well. Potatoes in both these tubs coming on well. I've just planted out some pumpkin and some squash into trays. That's these two little trays here. See how they get on. That's the remnants of the broccoli and cauliflower. You can see there's still quite a bit in each of these trays, so I am keen to get those planted out into those beds as well. I've put up some, don't know if you can see in here or not, that netting that I used outside. I've put that along the whole length on this side of the polytunnel. I'm pretty convinced you'll not see that actually. I guess I'll find out in the edit. But it's all the way along this wall anyway. Reason for that, when those tomato seedlings come up, they're going to go out along this wall. I'm going to get some more peas planted up as well, and that'll just give them, the peas and the tomatoes, something to climb on against the side of this polytunnel. Days flying by, I can't believe how quick it's going. It feels like I only just arrived 5 minutes ago. Glorious sunshine again today. Don't know if you can see all those dandelions. I've got a field full, as far as the eye can see, of these dandelions. There are absolutely millions as far as you can see. Looking into the sun now, so I don't know if you can see or not, but the field is covered in them. There's thousands of them. Anyway, I'm going to just have a quick time check, see how much time I've got left. There's a few bits in the cabin that I wanted to do, but I suspect I'm not going to get a chance today. It'll soon be time to go, but at least I can come back tomorrow. Well, it's gone 4 o'clock already. I can't believe where the time's gone today. I couldn't resist just doing a few more pots of peas, and I've given everything just a last quick water before I go. So I'm going to get myself packed up, get the cabin locked up, and get that shiny bright new wood pile squared away, and I'll be using some of that tomorrow, I think. One thing I forgot to mention, I've also got some pallets. Finally, I've got a little project I want to do with those. Not sure if I'll get started on that tomorrow or whether it'll be next weekend, but you'll see in future videos, no doubt. Well, that's the cabin locked away. It's nice to see the waste pipe installed, or half installed. That will need dulling down with a bit of paint at some point. Beautiful day out there. Really warmed up a lot. Be interesting to see how that raised bed gets along with the critters. Also interesting to see if the plants are okay when the temperature starts dropping at night. Now they're not in the polytunnel. We shall see. Wood piles tidied away. Nice to see the car on the driveway, and that's where I'm going now because it's time to go home. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Just about to drive away, and I couldn't resist just taking one last shot across the field there of these dandelions. There are millions. I'm hoping that this comes out. I guess I'll find out in the edit, but there's millions and millions of them. Really pretty. Anyway, that's it. I'm off. See ya.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's it all looking? How pleased am I that I can now drive on and off without any issues? Any of those plants, if people have recognised them, that were in the woodland there and they know what they are, do drop me a comment and let me know. As I said, I was clueless earlier on today. But for now, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.